What's up, everybody? Welcome to Celeb Central Africa. I'm your host, Dami B, and we are here bringing you the hottest and latest African celebrity tea and trending news stories. I'm joined today by two of my beautiful co-hosts. Back again is my girl, Amy. Hey, Amy, how you doing today?
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome back to Celeb Central Africa, particularly on YouTube. And I feel like we are in the era for love. It's Valentine's season. My lips are for you people.
And we're loving the lips, Amy. You look beautiful
Yeah.
today. Well, you look beautiful every day, but particularly today. And
Thank
I'm
you. We're celebrating in a big way for Valentine. We are going to the Basket Mount London show very shortly.
Oh,
So
I love
it's going
that.
to be a good time.
It's gonna be fun. Yes, Hobby and I went to a comedy show in Manchester last night, and that was a lot of fun. We were joking that it was really a Benin show because everybody in that building, almost everybody, was from Benin. We were like one of the few Yorubas in the building. It was so funny, but it was a great show. So shout out to them. We're gonna have a great time tonight.
The MC was my wedding MC questionnaire. Massive shout out to MC questionnaire because he does so well. So if you're in
Yeah.
Manchester, check him out. He will have more shows coming up. Okay. So everyone, we've got someone that is new to you, but she's not new to us. So we've got Ruby. She's in charge of all things fashion for Celeb Central Africa. Ruby, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi guys, so if you're just seeing this face for the first time, I'll be handling the fashion segment of this show. So I'm also an entrepreneur. I have a skincare line, so just be ready to see this face more often. And I'll be your fashion police. So I'll be bringing you all the interesting fashion gist, all the interesting African fashion gist. So guys, be prepared to see this space more often.
Thank you, Ruby. I feel like we have so much to talk about today, guys. We just need to dive right into it. We've got four stories for you today. So the very first story, Ifedayo and Frank Itom. So guys, if you've not been on social media this week, I don't know what you've been doing, but the week started with a lot of love, a lot of fun, a lot of celebration for a lady called Ifedayo Agoro. She got engaged. So everyone, this lady is 41 years old and she basically got engaged to a fiance who is one of the most popular fashion content creators in Nigeria. And he adds a lot of dance to his fashion as well. So he's really well loved. So the reason why this story went crazy is that in 2013, she called off an engagement. So this is like 12 whole years later. She's
Mhm.
not only getting engaged, but she's getting engaged to someone that people love so much. And the amount of love that has been pouring out to her on social media, just because over the time of her breaking off her engagement, she became an internet big sister to a lot of women. People sent her their stories. She launched a lot of shows and businesses. Like she literally became someone that people were going to every day. And she kicked off her show, A Diary of a Niger Girl. So people are literally just so happy for her. But on the other hand, Nigerians can never surprise me. Yeah. So this is what the internet is saying, that why did they live together before they got married? So even though most people are happy for them, the internet is not letting this go. So Dami, what do you think?
Yeah, so I have to roll my eyes so hard at the people who are trying to criticize these two grown people for living together before they were married because it's quote unquote unchristian. First of all, we need to let adults decide what is best for themselves and their lives. Second of all, I do not mind people who do cohabit before they are married because honestly, it is until you live with somebody that you really, really know the person, like inside and out, upside down, in every way possible. Until you live with them, sometimes even for a whole year, I would say live with somebody for a whole year before you decide to marry and commit to them for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
because that's when you'll see them through all the different seasons. Okay, so maybe, the fact that they did live together beforehand is why that they have even, survived their relationship and gotten to this point, because
Mhm.
they really are each other's people. On the other hand, as well, from another angle, I really love this story because it shuts down the people, especially men, who love to dog on women and say, once a woman is past a certain age, or once she's been married before, or once she's been engaged before, she is like used trash almost. They try to make women feel really low once they get past a certain age, or if they've been in a marriage or engagement before, which is true in Ifedayo's case. She is in her 40s and she was engaged before. So I'm sure there was a time in her life when that all of that was happening, where she probably maybe for a while felt like that was it for her. She's never going to find love again. She's reached the peak of herself as a woman, and here we go. She's found the love, the true love of her life in her 40s, a grown woman. So I love that it shuts down all those naysayers that love to make older women feel
Yeah.
like life is over for them. So I'm so happy for this story.
Me too, me too. Ruby, what do you think about Ifedayo's engagement?
Yeah, so I'm so happy for Dang. Personally, I'm a big advocate for two people cohabiting together, two people who are um in love with each other, especially if it's healthy. If that relationship is healthy, I advocate for it. I'm a sucker for it because that's the only way, they're able to know each other. You see, we hear stories of people getting married, they've been married for 10, 15 years, and something happens and they get to, go their separate ways or divorce after, you know, being together for 10, 15 years. How much more people who actually do not have time to, live together to cohabit before this is done? I've personally attended a wedding ceremony that for whatever reason, they got separated after 2 months. 2 months into the
Oh,
marriage, they got separated,
yeah.
right? And that was because they were practicing this this Christianity, and I think it's a standard that the society has placed on people. So not because they are, they sometimes want to do it. Now, because the society have said that, oh, you can't live with a man or you can't live with this man that you're interested in, because if you do it, it's a sin. Or if you do it traditionally, you're not supposed to be doing it, so there's just that stigma
Yeah.
surrounding two people cohabiting together, which personally I frown against. I'm like, how else are you supposed to know this person? How else are you supposed to know, or how else is this person also supposed to know you? Do you understand what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm happy for Ifedayo. I'm happy she has found love. I love Frank so much. Now, the honest truth is, I didn't know about Frank so much. I didn't hear of him so much
Really?
yeah, till when he did that engagement. Then I went on his Instagram
Wow.
page and I'm like, okay, this guy has something. Um, he has something strong going for himself.
Yes.
So what also broke me was when people were like that he's doing all of this, is doing all of this social media stunts to, he has something to gain from her, or there's something he wants to benefit from her. That's
Mm.
why he's doing all of that, especially with the age gap. I'm like, what year are you guys? Like, are you like, what year are you guys? So I love both of them. I love what's happening for both of them. I love the
Yeah.
fact that, she has found love. She looks very happy. They look very happy together.
They look
Um,
super happy.
so yeah, especially
I
with
don't
the
understand how.
past history. Yeah, the
I was.
past history of her our initial
Engagement.
engagement
Yeah.
and then breaking off the engagement. People also came for her that why didn't you tell the guy, or why didn't she tell the guy she wasn't interested in the marriage early enough before breaking it off? And now I'm saying to all women, like, the next worst thing after hellfire is bad marriage.
Oh my
So I'm
God.
happy, yeah. Like, I'm happy for where she is right now,
Yeah,
and yeah, I'm just
that's
wishing them
it.
the
Yeah.
best, the best love.
Just to jump in there, just two things based on what you've just said, Ruby. First of all, I'm really shocked that people are saying that he is possibly using her for basically for clout or for some other
Yeah,
Mm,
financial gains.
no,
That makes no sense because he is a very established person and business,
exactly.
person and creator in his own right. So what would he
yeah,
need from her apart from love? Do you get what I mean? So that doesn't even make sense. So all of
Exactly.
these people are not even they're not even using their senses properly. I don't
And,
get
and,
it.
and I,
I don't get it.
it's crazy because many people have that mindset of course, she has businesses, she's into oil and gas, she has a beauty line, and, she does the online work as well. But these TikTokers, these social media influencers, to the
oh my
level that Frank
goodness.
is at, are
Hmm.
making stupid money. Like, so at the end of the day, I was like, okay, number one, he's younger than you. Number two, he has a good, business or passion or whatever he's doing. He actually loves what he does. And literally the last few days I've been paying attention, or maybe I followed him recently, I don't know. But because from the wedding time, I've been paying attention, from the engagement news time, they've been doing some content together, and I'm like, whoa, like it was almost like they were waiting for this to happen, for the
Yeah.
for the content to start flying around. There was one little content that they created this week, and this guy made sure, like, he added a camera in front of the car, and then they basically turned out with like faces, like, I don't know, those people that do robbery in movies and put the weird faces on and whatever, and they were dancing and just doing the stupidest things in that car while the car was driving, and the video was like taking the two of them, and the caption was like, get someone you can have fun with. And that thing really made me so happy, because many times
Yeah.
as women get older, we have to be so serious. We have to, everything has to be so prim and proper. And I feel like one thing that is really pushing her towards him is his sense of fun and adventure. Because I've watched her having interviews, and she gives me the vibe of someone who is a lot more serious. You understand? And then he's always bringing that fun,
Yeah.
comedic side,
That balance. Yeah.
that balance, pulling her back into her younger side. So, from all of us at Celeb Central Africa, is a massive congratulations.
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 It really is. Let's jump into the very, very next one. And this one is all about prenups. Ladies, so what do you think about prenup? So, prenup is usually used or enforced before people get married to basically protect whatever the couple is bringing into the marriage. So, a prenup is not just like a blank contract. You can literally make a prenup whatever you want it to be. It's up to you, the detail that go in there. So, let's just get a little bit into the story. And ladies, what do you guys think about prenups for marriages? And why are we even talking about this? I think, Ruby, you did a little story.
Yeah, I did.
So yeah,
I did.
Ruby, tell us about your story.
Yeah. So I did do a little story about it. I'm sure it's all over social media now. The story about Boniface and his girlfriend. Um. So Boniface is, with the level he is at right now, the level he is right now in his career. So I can only imagine the amount of assets he has, you know, and our Nigerian mentality, our African mentality. So the men have been taught to have that, backup. A woman can't have all your property just in case something happens. Do you understand? So allegedly, his girlfriend wanted the marriage, or she wanted them to get married, and she didn't want to sign a prenup, or she wasn't open to a prenup. And Boniface, on the other hand, wanted a prenup, allegedly. So Boniface came after a few days. So this happened on the 25th of January. That was when this news circulated. Then in February, Boniface came back to say that such did not happen. Like nothing like that ever happened. So we know how the social media can be. They can cook up story and finish everything there on social media on your behalf. So personally, I'm glad such conversation never happened between them,
Yeah.
about signing a prenup, because we know that it can actually sometimes be a big deal for some people. But at the end of the day, in my head, my question to the audience, was like, what do you guys think about prenup? Is this prenup thing, like, is it necessary? Personally, I think it's not necessary. Prenup comes handy, yes, it's useful, especially when these two parties have asset before the marriage.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's when it becomes useful, not
Yeah.
necessary. Do you
Not
understand? So
not
at
for
the end of the day,
everyone. Yeah.
it's for the two people to actually decide if they want to have a prenup or not. Well, let me also open the floor to you ladies to give me what your take is on having a prenuptial agreement.
We'll let Dami go first.
Okay, so I believe in a prenup in the right situations. When we are talking about high value people, especially high value men, I do see the necessity of it. Um, this story about Boniface is something we have seen and heard so many times, and he apparently looks like he wanted to put his foot down because the girl did not want to, even consider a prenup. Let's look at stories of the past, especially our Black African athletes who have
Mm-hmm.
gone on to marry women, particularly women outside of their race. So
The
other
race,
women,
yeah.
Caucasian women, etc. And we've seen these examples where some years down the line, these women turn around and try to take the man's empire and fortune for like for almost everything they have. And in the case of there was a footballer. Anyway, can you just remind me? Do you have that guy's name? The one
Oh
who
yes.
was police,
I can't remember his name
Emmanuel
now, but I think
Ibue.
people would know the story though. So
Emmanuel
yeah.
Yeah, I
Ibue.
think I
It was
remember
him, but
him, yeah, but I
so
don't remember his name.
I'll cut back in. So Victory, you can come back in here. So there was a
Yeah.
footballer by the name of Emmanuel Ibue, and he played for Arsenal or maybe Liverpool. Anyway, he played for a football team years ago, and he amassed his wealth to the point of like 20 million. He was worth like 20 million pounds, and he married a Caucasian woman. She was European, I believe. And then some years later, we started hearing stories that he was literally like broke. The woman had divorced him and taken almost everything. Even the
Wow.
house that the mansion that he had bought, he played for some reason, everything was purchased in the woman's name. And this woman, she had a couple
Oh,
kids for him, then divorced him and took even the house. Like she didn't even leave him with the boxes he was in. I'm exaggerating. Like she took everything, like even the house he was living in, and he was allegedly out on the streets. Like there was pictures of him on the streets. How do you go from 20
wow.
million to the streets? And then he was calling out for help to people, his footballer chums, and some people did what they could for him, but he never recovered from it to the level that he
Yeah.
was. Then next thing we hear, a few years later, he went back to his own country and then married a black woman from his own country. Now that pissed me off, but that's a
Oh.
whole other. Let's get back to
Yeah.
the prenup. Let's get back to the prenup. So in
Let's
cases
get back
like
to the
that,
brain out.
that's another topic. But in cases like him, a prenup would have literally saved this guy's life. It would have saved his fortune and the empire that he has built. And there was another footballer, I believe he's Egyptian, and he
Yeah.
also married a Caucasian woman as well. And the woman, so they separated, then she divorced him, then she tried to take like everything like from him as
Everything.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it came out in the courts that this footballer and we'll put a picture of him, and we'll get his name. We'll put it on the screen. But this particular footballer, he had already signed. He had bought and signed everything in his mother's name, so
Yep.
he owned zero. And it came out in the
Yeah.
court, and people were like, that was a chess
Crazy.
move. That was smart.
That guy.
That was smart. That was a bad guy. Like,
Not
we couldn't
guy.
believe it. Like, and it taught men a lot of lessons. Like, his mother owned everything, so there was nothing she could do. So in cases there are
Yeah.
some cases where prenup is highly necessary. And let's not look at it from like protecting the man perspective, because
Yeah.
prenup also protects the woman. Okay, because there
It
are
does.
some
Woman. Yeah.
situations, there are some celebrity breakups that we've seen, and in
Mhm.
high profile business people, where the prenup states that if the man is at fault and leads to a divorce, for
Mhm.
example, if he is found to cheat, if he is what's that I'm trying to say, like infidelity, basically, if he's
Yeah.
found that he's been doing infidelity or something else, that he is at fault, the woman automatically gets certain assets,
Yeah.
certain percentage of everything. So it protects women too. So
It
personally,
does.
I
Yeah.
see both sides and I'm for it.
Yeah, and I think for me particularly, when it comes to prenup, I think there's two ways that I see it. If people are young and one of the couple is coming from maybe a lot of wealth from family, you've inherited a
Yes.
lot of things, you are bringing a lot into the table, or let's say for example, all these young stars that are doing so well and making crazy money from super young age, if that kind of person is getting married to someone who is, from a regular background, it makes all the
Brown.
sense in the world where there's not a balance, if you get what I mean. I feel like when the relationship is not balanced in terms of what people are bringing into the marriage, it definitely
Mhm.
makes sense. Because another thing that also happens is that, let's say, for example, people had a prenup or didn't have a prenup, and then down the line, it's been like 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, that person definitely like should get something from you because you've literally been together building whatever you now
Yeah.
have.
Whatever
And
it
that
is.
was the
Yeah.
story with the Bill Gates story and his wife Melinda Gates. Like they were like throw the whole thing away. Even with the owner Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, it's like we have
So,
been here building this thing together. Forget no prenup or whatever. You get whatever you want. That's a completely different story. And then also, I think prenups are also good for people that are marrying later in life. So say, for example, somebody was married before, they had children before, the other person was married before, had children before, maybe they are over 45, over 50, whatever. You've amassed certain things in your life, and you also have family members that you probably look after, children from other marriages or whatever. That is definitely a good opportunity to say, you know what, I need to protect what I'm bringing in.
well, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
also, we are also building whatever together. So I think those are the two main times that I feel like definitely necessary.
Everything is
Yeah.
necessary.
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Guys, before we
What
go,
do
I know
just
women,
to
we
jump in
love
there,
this topic.
Amy,
Yeah, sorry, go on.
just to jump in very quickly, what do you ladies think about Cristiano Ronaldo refusing to marry his long-term girlfriend, probably because of the fear of all of these marital breakdowns and not wanting to get prenup involved and all of that? The way I see it, he's protecting his assets by not even marrying her point blank. And she has
Married
several
her.
children from him, and they've been together for years,
Yeah.
and he said no.
For
What do
many,
you guys
I feel like it's one of those things where whatever you allow, people will do to you. So it's whatever they've agreed between each other. Like she's just happy to benefit and enjoy whatever she's getting right now. And I think it's better for him, someone like him, to be like, okay, you know what? Let's have a prenup here, but then let's make it fair in a way to say, okay, regardless of anything, this is what goes to you and our children. I feel like they will be in a better place for her to say, you know, actually, yeah, like it's fine for us to have a prenup. Like,
think?
I feel like prenups should not be used as something to sort of say that other person doesn't deserve anything from you, especially when you've been together over a certain amount of years. And I remember I
Yeah.
have a family friend who's a family lawyer, and she was like, look, prenup is not a bad thing. You just have to stipulate the terms that go into it, and both of you need to agree on whatever
On
those
it.
terms are. So I
Exactly.
think
Yeah.
he's so scared that he only wants to give her whatever he wants to give her. So he doesn't really, he's like, nah, let's not even get married. If I decide to give you anything, you will thank me.
Exactly. Just stay with it.
What do you think, Ruby?
Yeah, I think it's just about the understanding between the two parties. If they understand each other on that level, then fine.
Yeah, that's it. All
Yeah.
right, let's carry on. And this one, we're going all the way to church with this one. We are going all the way to church on this one. So, guys, Harvesters Entertainment Company is owned by a massive church in Nigeria called Harvesters Church. So, I literally just checked today and I could see that the church has over 180,000 followers on Instagram alone. That's to tell you how big this church is. So, not only are they in Lagos, all across Lagos. They also are now in Birmingham, London, Manchester, Glasgow, and Houston, Texas, in America. So this is not a small church. Let's just say that. So they have launched this entertainment company, and now they've decided to go Nollywood. They've decided to bring out a love story for Valentine, and it's called You May Only Kiss the Bride, and it's on YouTube, and they are really pushing this. What do we think about churches getting commercial? Dammy?
I'll let Ruby go first. You go first, Ruby.
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing that came to mind when I saw the poster was, is this movie actually faith-based? That was
Hmm.
the first thing that came to mind. And again, I was like, okay, with the likes of Daniel Etim in the movie, we all know that Daniel Etim is like a secular actor, like a proper Nollywood secular actor. So is this something that should be encouraged in the church, in the body of Christ? Because if there's anything I want to believe is the fact that there are so many people, except he attends that church. If he attends that church,
Mm,
then that's another ballgame entirely. So if not, I want to believe that there are so many people or there are youth in that church with talent, with acting talent they can actually, build, help nurture these people to go into the the movie or the entertainment industry, right? We have Mount Zion. I don't think Mount Zion, Mike Bamiloye, would actually think of doing such. But then again, I don't know what their aim is. Let us watch and see. Let us wait and see
yeah.
what they actually want to derive by doing this. Yeah.
Because I really
And I
feel
think,
that yeah, sorry. I really feel that, this is a way that they're trying to get more young people into the church, promote their own personal businesses and endeavors, just, I feel like it's more of a popularity thing than a faith thing. Because even
Mm.
hearing how, some other churches have done movies and, even the topics and the storylines and, cheating and random things, boyfriends, like things that like, are not particularly what the church sort of like pushes out there. But when they're doing this movie, it's almost like they kick off all the church, God, Christian mentality to the side and just say, we are going to get a movie that people are going to watch and come to our church and bring us money.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
Yeah,
means,
and just actually adding to what you said, I saw some scenes of the in the movie, and so three friends. Not to spoil it for anyone, you need to go and
yeah,
see it to the end. But to be friends, they were actually so one was married and had a child already, expecting the second child. The other one just newly married, and the third friend, as usual, wasn't married. She didn't have a boyfriend, and it was her 31st birthday, right? So I'm just assuming that just maybe a Prince Charming will come or she will go to church and find the right person. So honestly, Dammy, over to you. Let's hear what you think.
yeah, honestly, I'm gonna just piggyback off what you said, which is what is their aim? What is their final goal from all of this? And
Mm,
maybe I would have to watch one or two of their movies that they produce for me to get what is their agenda. So if their aim is money, is just a revenue generating activity, this movie
yeah,
production thing, um, I get it, but I feel like it's supposed to be done in a better way because they can still tell stories that have
yeah,
a spiritual underlying underlining. They can still tell stories that teaches us something about faith, that teaches us
Yeah.
something about Christianity. They can recreate a story like maybe some of the stories in the Bible, or they can make it more modern, but again, have it teach us a lesson. A Bible-based lesson at the end of
Yeah.
it. That's what makes sense to me when I hear a church is making movie production. I'm like, what? So if it's not that, I really don't understand what the agenda is.
Right. Yeah.
If, on the other hand, the agenda is to make the church seem more approachable, more
Yeah.
modern, and attract more young people, again, there is another way to do that. There are, in the UK, there were a lot of churches who came under fire because they started to include, I'm going back a few years ago, they started to include drill music, Christian drill music. Now, for
Yes.
those who know drill music, the origins are not Christian. It was formed out of kind of gang life, so to speak. From the streets of London, it was an urban music scene, and they used to talk about the struggles on the streets, so it was very authentic. So now they started to bring it into the church in that they would use drill sounds, but with a Christian message, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
people
Mm.
used to bash them, and I loved it. I'm not gonna lie, I loved it because I used to say, look, anything that gets these young lads into the church, if it's drill music,
Yeah.
it's drill music. So do it. So I feel like if we want to appeal to the young people, and if that's their aim through music and movies, then that can be done. But it needs to be done in a way that is clear to the people that there is
Yeah.
still a Christian message or underlining to this, if that makes sense. So that's my
Yeah.
views.
It definitely
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
To actually add to this, I don't know if you've seen this movie. It was done in 2024 by Bishop T.D. Jakes, Woman Thou Art Loosed.
I think I saw it. I can't
Heard of it,
remember
but
the
I've not
full
seen it.
details now. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this actor there, Kimberly Ellis, right? Now she does other movies also, but she was like the main character in Woman Thou Art Loosed. When I saw the story and I was trying to figure out like a justification for as to why the church would actually want to sponsor, or why the church would actually want to invest in movies like that, especially with secular actors. I don't want to, I'm not saying Daniel Etim shouldn't be, part of the crew or something,
Yeah.
shouldn't do such, but I'm like, again, if is a member of the church,
Mm.
right, that explains it. Um, but if not, then it's questionable.
Yeah.
So I know Kimberly Ellis, I know she's done so many movies. I know she's a fantastic actor. I also know for a fact that she attends what's the name of the church again? The church that T.D. Jakes
Uh,
pastor.
I
Um
can't remember the name of his church.
Lighthouse. Not Lighthouse.
I
I
can't
don't think
remember.
it's
I can't remember. No problem. Everybody knows TD Jake, so it's fine. They know who we're talking about.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I mean that's just it. If he's actually a member of the church, then kudos.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
hopefully the storyline makes sense and aligns and actually brings people the way that it should to the house of the Lord. So you were telling us something the other minute, Ruby, about being in faith, and Chris Oyakilome had something to say
Oh
recently.
yeah.
Since we are inside this Christian matter, please tell us what
Exactly.
happened.
And so recently, I was just strolling on the street of Instagram and I saw his video trying to justify the reason why. Plus, I love Pastor Chris Yakilome, like, no disrespect to him. So, this is just an observation regarding his ministers. It's as though they get to a particular point in the ministry and they get to leave his church. So, this is like, a norm,
A
like it happens
consistent thing, yeah.
steadily here, like it's steady, it's consistent. So he was trying to justify the reason why these people get to leave, after a while. So that's him not being able to tolerate the fact that they're beginning to treat the church as a business. After ministering in the church, they get to leave the church to go to another church or go for a concert or go somewhere else to perform. And he doesn't want performers in his church. Like, if you have to be a minister in the church, be a minister in the church. Focus, wait till the end of the service before you
And then
go
you
to your
go.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, before you go to your business. So that explains the reason why the likes of Sinach, the likes of Frank Edwards, and so many others are, no longer in the church till now. So I'm guessing he doesn't want performers. He's looking for ministers. Because
Ministers.
there was actually this allegation one time that Sinach wanted to come for experience. I don't know if you know the experience.
Oh
The
yes,
one
the experience. Yes, I know. I know.
Pastor Paul Adefarasi does every year.
Yes.
More like one of the biggest programs that happens yearly in Lagos. Yeah. So the Sinach wanted to be Paul Adefarasi had invited Sinach over, and Pastor Chris Oyakilome didn't give his consent for her to come
Ooh.
minister. You understand? So it was at that point that she pulled out of the church
Oh.
because, of course, she had like a career. She had the ministry to chase. She had her
Yeah.
own vision. She wanted to chase something. And yeah, it was just at that point that she left the church and disassociated from Christ Embassy. So yeah, so that's the gist.
That's the gist. Oh my
Yeah,
Lord.
that's the
Oh
gist.
my God. Dammy. What are you thinking about this story from Pastor Chris?
This whole situation, I just feel sadness when I hear stories like this because I'm like, another one has now been lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another few people have now left the church. And I'm just like, we need to stop the numbers of people turning their back on faith and religion and Christianity is really startling. And then you have little excuses and things like this just inside the church pushing people, literally kicking them out, pushing them out. And I just feel like it's really not right. I I understand. Do I though? I'm like, okay, I understand the pastor's frustration. He doesn't want like these people, for example, to like do their performance and then leave. I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
They should at least stay for the whole at least stay for the whole service
At least
before
stay for
you
the
book
service.
something
Yeah.
else, before you book something else. But I just feel like it's too much. It's too harsh to then just be like, oh, you're just no longer part of this church congregation. You're no longer part of our family anymore. At a time where people are just really turning their backs on religion and Christianity, we do not
Yeah.
need to be giving people more reasons to
More
do
reason.
so, especially petty, ridiculous reasons like that. That's my view.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those things where I go to church and we have artists come in to perform, minister, not perform, to minister at church. And I think it's one of those things where a simple conversation to be like, please, like if you're coming to perform, to minister, make sure you stay until this time or whatever. And I
The
think
end of
one
service,
thing
yeah.
that is also being done as well, particularly I'm looking at my church, for example, so the minister's performance gets split. So say for example, they're meant to perform in the beginning of service and then they have to come again later, maybe during offering time or whatever. So you splitting the time that you have with them is also another way of saying, you know what, be here
You
with
have
us.
to say,
Stay here with us. Do you see what I mean?
stay
So I feel
here.
like it's better to do those kind of things and be like, you know what, let's make you feel welcome. You're part of the family. You're here. Let's split your time. Let's say, for example, the minister was meant to do 20 minutes. Do 10 minutes here, do 10 minutes there. Let's all stay together. And then after all of that, it's the end of service anyway. So no problem. Bye. So I think it's just I feel like people are so quick to just cut off. And I think that is not Christ-like. I'm sorry. Like, that is not the way that we are meant to be. We are meant to be a lot more welcoming, a lot more warm. And I think, giving people the space to actually have these conversations and work out something that works for the church as well as for the artist could have been the best way to go. But obviously now these individuals will spend more time outside of the church than they would actually bringing people
Exactly.
to the
Yeah.
church. And that's
Yeah.
it.
Another question I ask myself is, how much support do these artists really get from the church?
Yes.
right? So,
Mm,
because I've seen situation where people are in church, they step for 10, 15 years, and they have
mm,
nothing to show for it,
mhm.
which saddens my heart. I've seen people really close to my heart, being in a particular church for years, and yet they don't feel accomplished. There's nothing, absolutely nothing to show for it. But the moment they step out of church, the moment they get recognized somewhere else in another ministry, I don't want to say out of church, in another ministry, then the church, they begin to notice, and they begin to notice and call out the person for whatever reason. Oh, you're meant to
Leaving.
be here, you're not here, now you're going somewhere else to minister. This same artist or this same minister has been with you for the longest time. How
Yeah.
have you supported the minister? What did you do? How did you pull your weight in making sure this person's dream or this person's talent doesn't go to waste?
Come
Mm-hmm.
through.
So that's
Come
one big
through.
question I keep asking myself.
That is it.
Yes.
And a massive
Yeah.
church like Christ Embassy, the amount of money, sorry, it is what it is. The amount of money that goes into such places, like
Mhm.
artists that are built there, artists that gave themselves to that ministry should not be lacking. Do you get what
Yeah.
I mean? And I think that's the thing, because if we're being honest, the pastors are not lacking. Do you understand? Like, so the families of the ministers at the top are not lacking. So it's one of those things where we really need to start treating people, let's say Christ-like. That is the point of Christianity. Be Christ-like. The highest commandment, show love to
Yeah.
everyone. So if we're really acting in love and moving in love, trust me, we're not going to have these issues. But before we get to another point, Two-Face, Idibia, this week,
Back to the two baba, the two baba himself, Mister.
I love how you went from that topic into Two-Face. That was smooth.
I was like, there's no time. Let's get into this. Two-Face Idibia, it was almost like I saw a vision that this week was going to be mad for him. I remember
Yeah.
doing a story about him. I think it was Saturday night, last Saturday. And I said in the video, I said, I can see more videos coming, as if I knew.
What's gonna happen?
As if I knew. So this week it has been non-stop. Tubaba released another video saying, oh, everybody alleging that this and that is going on. You don't need to allege anymore. Just come straight and say it. Natasha is not the issue. She's not the problem. That Natasha is not the person that came between him and his wife, Annie. Then he also got to say that him and Annie are not fighting, everything is fine on that side, and that everyone should move on. And then he also contradicted himself and said he knows that he brought this to social media, so he knows that people will give comments, but at the same
Oh,
time,
Lord. Yeah.
at the same time, stop alleging. So that happened. And less than 24 hours later, another video came about before that, Two-Face actually said he wants to marry Natasha. He said it in the first video. Then the second video landed the next day, and suddenly you can see him, walking towards her like he wants to do something. I'm like, what's going on here? Before you know, I didn't see him kneel down. Not one knee touched that ground, but he was he was proposing to her in some way, and she was fidgeting. She was like, oh my god, is this happening? And I'm like, wow, these people actually got engaged in front of us. And I noticed that he kept touching her belly. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was only me that saw that as well. So
No.
this is to tell me that wherever he is with her. Then another video or audio, whatever, dropped. His mom is looking for him. So Baba's mom is looking for him, according to her. She's looking for him right now. She feels that he has been kidnapped. He has been taken by Natasha. What do you guys think is going on? Please, please, please break it down.
Okay, so first of all, let me just address the mom, then we'll hear from Ruby. My issue is with Tubaba's mother. First of all, when she came out to say that, oh, the bead that you've put on around his neck, on his wrist, the charm, the juju you've done on him, basically insinuating this woman has done juju. I was like, Madam, You are the reason your two Baba is the way that he is. You have taught your son no accountability. This man takes no accountability for anything that he does, and you are the reason. I can see you coming out and saying that this woman has done juju on him, basically, allegedly, is the reason he has been going up and down Africa producing children left, right, and center as if he is Abraham, father of all children, father of all nations. Are you
Yeah.
serious? Are you serious, madam? Go and sit down, please. Go and sit down. That's my only comment. Ah, gosh.
And it's
I'm very
always the
respectful to
women, right?
elders, but elders need to have sense.
Exactly.
Exactly. Ruby, let's hear your thoughts.
You know, so it's actually funny being in Nigeria. Maybe the video you shared with me, when the Edo girl, I'm
Yeah.
like, those people must represent. As soon as I heard that girl's,
Her
I
accent.
watched the video. I'm like, yes, like this is it. She should get on the next flight. You have a son that is in your head. You think your son is in danger. Get on the next flight, get on the next bus, go to Edo, however you want to locate your son. Locate him. Whatever bead you think he has on his neck, take it down, cut it
Abi,
off. Like
it.
mother, you can speak into his life, you can speak to him, cut it off, right? And Two Face, I enjoyed the video you made, Dami, concerning Two Face, and also about Natasha and the fact that they're actually on drugs. Do you understand? Especially
Allegedly.
when you mentioned the pentazocine.
Mm.
So both of them cannot be normal. Like it's not. When I had surgery, and I had to be placed on pentazocine, right? And I know the effect of it. That thing it's insane. It's insane. So for the fact that I had to go back and I saw the video and I
Mm,
saw her body movement. Two Face
Mm.
also doesn't look normal. As soon as I saw the body movement, I'm like, no, she couldn't even compose herself.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this is not right in any way, right?
He was
So
fidgeting. He didn't even
yeah,
want to get on his knee. He might not have stood up if he got down. So we never
yeah.
know.
So regarding Two Face's mother, there's nothing anybody can tell me. That woman knows where her son is.
Mm-hmm.
She just wants to stay. She's not staying neutral, but she wants to come out good and clean in the eyes of the
Yeah.
public. If
Mm-hmm.
you're a concerned mother, you will not be on social media. You will not be in front of the camera doing whatever.
mm.
The
You'll be
concerned
acting.
mother.
I
Yes,
already
and
looked at this,
and do it
Mama.
for your son. If you think
Exactly.
he's beaten, or if you think another woman has put him in whatever, under her armpit or wherever, you'll be on the next flight or on the next bus going to look for your son because you care
Simple.
about him and you don't want
Simple.
anything to happen to him.
Simple. I already look at
So
this mama with the side eye just because of how she has treated Annie for the
Yeah.
past 20 years, allegedly. Her and the whole family have, from reports, have been so
Yeah.
mean and so evil towards her. So I already
Mm-hmm.
looked at her with the side eye. So when this whole thing came out, I was like, Ma, please, just go and rest. Go and find your son and leave us out of this chat, I beg.
You
I
know,
mean, how can you be telling the world to help you
to
beg
help your
Natasha
son.
or to
Yeah, to
help?
let my
Oh
son
my
go.
God, my goodness.
And I think it's these kind of women that make people feel that it's always the woman that is the issue.
Yeah,
And I feel like
exactly.
that's it, because say for example, oh, he had the first child outside of her. Is the woman that seduced him. He had the other child outside of her. She definitely used something on him. He had the other child outside of her. Now he has decided to embarrass himself and his family. Is the woman that put the jazz on him. And it was so funny. There's an adult girl that Ruby and I were talking about earlier, and she did the stupidest video about this. And some questions that she asked were very valid. She was like,
Yeah,
okay, if we were even going to say somebody's at fault over here, who is the elder? Who is older? Who should have more sense out of
yeah,
Two-Face
both of
and
them.
Natasha?
Natasha.
She was like, leave our honorable alone. Come to Benin and carry him. Bundle him back to Lagos
Of
if
course.
you want. It's one of those things where she has always, it's very clear to me. Another thing the girl also said, the funny thing about this video is that she kept being rude, but trying to be very respectful at the same time. She was like, Ma, your son doesn't have sense. Ma, you really didn't raise him properly. So it was so crazy to watch this. It's just to say that what I was also saying earlier today, I was like, the person who tried to write on Two Faces page to say his account was hacked, that person was really, that person saw the vision of all the nonsense
That
that was
happened.
about to go. That person was giving him the last chance to save himself. And he
Yeah.
obviously did not take it. That person
No.
tried to help him and he decided to bring his face and come and tell us, no,
Like, I did this. With my full chest.
I
I'm
decided to.
accepting that I did it.
So,
I
guys,
know.
it's been a lovely, lovely show. We don't want to let this show go on for too long. We just want you to get
Yeah.
straight to the point on this one. So remember to follow us all on social media. Follow us, Celeb Central Africa, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, and obviously right here on YouTube. You can send us your stories via our DMs as well. Our DMs are open. You can also email us at celebcentralafrica@gmail.com. Do you guys have anything more you want to add?
I am just building my energy because I know more nonsense about Two Babas coming in this new week. So we're getting ready and we're going to bring you the hot story. Hot. Like Obona Feli Feli.
Yes. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, everyone. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. Give us the comment. What do you think about Two-Face? What do you think is going on right now? What do you think about Christians in church? And what do you think about the movies coming out from Harvesters?
Yeah.
What do you think about Ifedayo's engagement? And also, what do you think about prenups? Let us know in the comments. Bye, guys.